Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria takes place this weekend on the prelims of UFC 264, Poirier versus McGregor 3, and I can't wait for this featherweight bout. Two streaking contenders, not quite ranked yet in the featherweight division. Ryan Hall was ranked, but because of his inactivity, he's now fallen out of those rankings. So the winner of this one, in my opinion, is definitely going to be ranked in the featherweight division, and I think the winner of this one is going to be a real problem for the rest of the featherweight division as well. Really looking forward to this matchup, but more than the matchup, I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing Ryan Hall in a cage, because it's been 2 whole years and it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, and that gives me a little bit of a quarter-life crisis here, because it doesn't feel like 2 years, but it has been 2 whole years since Ryan Hall has competed inside the octagon. He has gone from 34 to 36. Not a great time in your life to be inactive, but either way, Ryan Hall, always going to be dangerous. He's not like a guy who has one-punch KO power or is ridiculously fast on the feet, so I don't think age is going to affect him the same way it would other fighters, like maybe Ilia Topuria himself. But I can't wait to see Ilia Topuria get back in that cage, because he is a dominant man. Came in on short notice against Youssef Zalal in his debut, took him 3 rounds and beat him every single round of that fight. Maybe not the third, but even still on short notice against Youssef Zalal, who was doing quite good at the time, by the way. I know he's fallen off a little bit now, but Ilia Topuria came in on short notice, got the job done against Youssef Zalal, and then showed us what he was capable of on the next fight of his career against Damon Jackson. Completely destroyed Damon Jackson and showed us what he can do on full camp, which is a huge deal, because he completely ran through Damon Jackson like he was absolutely nothing, destroyed him start to finish, walked him down, cornered him against the cage, and put him out against the cage as well. Ilia Topuria is an extremely dangerous man, and I think Ryan Hall is going to be having a little bit of trouble here against Ilia Topuria. Don't get me wrong, Ryan Hall is a wizard on the ground, and that's why they call him the Wizard. However, there have been some fights where he has not looked so dominant. There have been some decisions that he has had where maybe you could see, if this guy is taking you to a decision, if this guy is able to be in your guard, I think Ilia Topuria is going to give you some problems. So I believe Ilia Topuria is going to go out there and get a brutal first round KO over Ryan Hall. And it kind of hurts me to say, because I do like Ryan Hall. I think he's a very cool guy. He's very funny. I've watched a video of him reacting to memes from Lex Friedman or something like that. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but they were printing out memes and handing it to Ryan Hall, which is just another situation. But even still, Ryan Hall seems like a fun guy. Really enjoy his personality. I just think he's going to just get absolutely destroyed here against Ilia Topuria. I don't see a universe where Topuria doesn't just walk him down and batter him in that first round, and I think that's what Ilia Topuria is going to go out there and try and do. He knows Ryan Hall has not been in the cage for about 2 years. I'm sure he's going to want to start fast against him, make him feel the ring rust a little bit, because it does exist. I know Dominic Cruz said it doesn't. It does. Dominic Cruz just likes to be different and edgy with his opinions. Either way, Ryan Hall is going to be a little bit rusty in the first few minutes of this fight, and that's where Ilia Topuria is the most dangerous. And I don't see Ryan Hall submitting him either, because if Ryan Hall can't submit Darren Elkins, and can't submit Gray Maynard, and can't submit Artem Lobov, I know he's maybe a little bit better now, but Ryan Hall was a jiu-jitsu wizard all the way back in 2015. He's not going to really be making changes to his jiu-jitsu game where he's now twice as good as he was back then. He's always been really good at jiu-jitsu. I guess maybe now he's fine-tuning some things in his game. He's also improved his stand-up as well. We got 2 knockdowns against Darren Elkins, wheel kicks as well, which is amazing to see. I know why Ryan Hall throws those techniques, because he doesn't have to worry about ending up on his back. If he throws a wheel kick and someone closes the distance, he could just fall to his back and they're not going to go on the ground with him whatsoever. I feel like Ryan Hall and Brian Ortega are kind of the 2 guys that most fighters will just not go to on the ground. Same maybe with Gilbert Burns. Either way, I feel like Ryan Hall's going to be in for a real rough night against Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is just so switched on early in fights. We saw that against Damon Jackson. I don't see Ryan Hall being comfortable enough early to deal with that pressure of Ilia Topuria. He's going to come forward, he's going to get in Ryan Hall's face, he's going to back him up. Ryan Hall might go for an Imanari roll, don't get me wrong, but Ilia Topuria's got good jiu-jitsu as well. I mean, Ilia Topuria has a lot of submissions on his record. Let me just count. Ryan Hall has, on his record, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 submissions, okay? In 9 fights. Ilia Topuria in 10 fights, he's 10-0, undefeated by the way, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 submissions on his record. So it's not like Ryan Hall is going to have a night and day submission ability advantage over Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria's got nasty submissions as well. I'm not saying that Ilia Topuria is way better than Ryan Hall at submissions. I understand how it works. Ryan Hall has a massive advantage over him, but it's not like... Ryan Hall had an advantage over Darren Elkins in a jiu-jitsu, and Elkins was just sitting in his guard and not much was happening, in all honesty. Artem Lobov is not as good at jiu-jitsu as Ryan Hall, but he wasn't able to submit Artem Lobov. Artem Lobov stayed in good positions, didn't get himself caught out in any situations, defended well, even on The Ultimate Fighter on that same season. I know Ryan Hall won The Ultimate Fighter, but what really happened was Saul Rogers beat the shit out of Ryan Hall on The Ultimate Fighter. Saul Rogers lied about his visa. He got pulled from the tournament, and then Ryan Hall came back into the final as an alternate, as a replacement. Saul Rogers was able to take down Ryan Hall, get on the ground with him, land some good ground and pound shots, stay out of danger with all of the leg lock abilities that Ryan Hall has, and I think he did really well there, and I think it's kind of written in the... the blueprint's been written that you can stay out of submissions against Ryan Hall. BJ Penn being submitted is not a good thing to go off of right now, because honestly, I got cousins that might beat BJ Penn nowadays. Like, BJ Penn's losing fights to drunk men in Hawaii at bars. Like, that's a genuine thing. He is losing fights to drunk fat men in Hawaii. I like Ryan Hall. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's got a lot of hype because of the YouTube videos that have been posted about no one wanting to take him on. I think that has really kind of changed people's perceptions of Ryan Hall, because like, people weren't all up in arms about how he's going to be a champion after he got done with Darren Elkins, in all honesty. People were a bit like, yeah, he knocked him down in those rounds, but what really happened other than that? Darren Elkins was in his guard, and Ryan Hall couldn't really do anything from there. He was just on bottom, taking a couple of shots. Either way, Ryan Hall, I know people have been talking about him as the most ducked fighter in the UFC, but in all honesty, his inactivity over the past 2 years has been purely because of him. Maybe if he was being inactive because he was being ducked, I would maybe consider him winning a little bit more, because that way I know that he's been training hard the whole time, he's been ready to go the whole time, and he's been getting better every single year. But his problems of inactivity have come because of himself. He was supposed to fight Ricardo Lamas in May of 2020. He pulled out of that one. He was supposed to fight Ricardo Lamas in August of 2020. He pulled out of that one. He was supposed to fight Dan Ige in March of 2021, earlier this year. He pulled out of that one. He's been injured then. If he's pulling out of these fights, he's getting injured, and that's taken away from training time. Meanwhile, you've got the young guy, Ilia Topuria, 24 years of age, no injuries, just fucking keeping it going. Chewing along. I mean, since Ryan Hall has last fought in 2019 July, Ilia Topuria has fought a guy at Brave CF, Luis Gomez, who is absolutely terrible. Beat a guy, Steve Goncalves, 6-1 at Brave CF, which is a good opponent. He's fought 4 times against 4 good opponents, and he's looked good against all of them, even on short notice against Yusuf Zalal. I don't see Ilia Topuria slowing down as the rounds go on. I think this fight's going to be Ilia Topuria's in the first round. One thing I really like about Ilia Topuria here as well is his body work. He actually has a stat in the UFC, which is really ridiculous. Over 50% of his strikes thrown have been to the body in the UFC. That's a crazy stat, and let me tell you why that's important to me. When you've got a guy in Ryan Hall who's going to be going for Imanari rolls, who's going to probably try a couple of takedowns as well, just to try and get Ilia Topuria to the ground, or maybe go for a takedown and then pull guard afterwards and stuff like that. Even when you have a guy like Ryan Hall, having body shot ability and being able to lower your base, even though he's a shorter guy anyway, Ilia Topuria, it's just going to make it harder for Ryan Hall to submit him or get him to the ground in general. Ilia Topuria, short, stocky guy for the featherweight division, going to be nice and low, going to be going to the body against Ryan Hall. That also kind of saves him a little bit from those wheel kicks. Wheel kicks are really hard to land against shorter opponents. You saw that with Conor McGregor versus Dennis Siver. In fact, Conor McGregor's coach even told him between rounds, he's too short for wheel kicks, stop throwing them. That's what eventually happened. McGregor stopped throwing them, started landing more straight left hands, and got the job done over Dennis Siver. Either way, Ryan Hall's main abilities are pulling guard, rolling for an ankle with an Imanari roll, or wheel kicking on the feet. He's not going to really be able to land a wheel kick too effectively, in my opinion, against a guy who's digging to his body and a guy who's shorter in general. And he's not really going to be able to pull guard effectively against a guy who's got the grappling skill of Ilia Topuria. The submissions and the transitions that Ilia Topuria was going for against Youssef Zalal was ridiculous. He was literally showing Youssef Zalal, I can submit you with this, I can submit you with this, I can submit you with this. He was going through the motions, arm triangle, Darce choke, guillotine attempt. He has a lot of submission ability himself, and I think that jiu-jitsu knowledge that Ilia Topuria has is going to give him enough awareness to stay out of danger against Ryan Hall. I always use this example. Jorge Masvidal, Damian Maia. Maia is 10 times better than Jorge Masvidal at jiu-jitsu. However, Masvidal knows jiu-jitsu. He knows what moves people are going to be going for. This is one of the reasons why jiu-jitsu has not really been too effective in MMA as of recently. If you know what your opponent who does jiu-jitsu wants to do to you, it's a little bit easier to know what to avoid and to know how to stay out of those positions. Earlier on in the UFC, no one had a fucking clue what Royce Gracie was doing to them, and all of a sudden they were choking and tapping. Now they know. It's a little bit easier to see it coming and avoid, because submissions, a lot of them, other than maybe guillotines, aren't really like a one-step process. You have to really set them up, and guys kind of have to be dumb to fall into them at this point in MMA. So, Ilia Topuria could get submitted. I know heel hooks are a different issue. That's always a bit of a 50-50 position. No pun intended, but like anything can happen in a heel hook situation. Sometimes it's in, sometimes it's not. A little bit of a risky situation, I understand, but Ilia Topuria, I trust him to stay out of those positions, as did Darren Elkins, as did Gray Maynard. I think he's going to get the job done. I think that one moment that he had against BJ Penn is sticking in everyone's mind, and that's not Ryan Hall every fight. And it's definitely not Ryan Hall, 36, from what he used to be 34. Not a good time to be getting older. Not a good time to be inactive. He is a big guy, so maybe he does actually stand a chance of just being a little bit more positionally dominant over Ilia Topuria, but I think Ilia Topuria is a far better athlete, way more explosive, and I think he just walks down Ryan Hall in the first round and batters him badly. And I think people are going to be shocked, in all honesty, because I think people have bought into the hype of Ryan Hall, and I've been saying this for a long time. He's not really that amazing. He's okay, but taking Darren Elkins to a decision nowadays, I don't even want to think about the nightmares I would have of thinking about what Ilia Topuria would do to Darren Elkins. He would walk him down, he would smash his fucking head in, and he would keep doing it until Elkins is dead. Straight up. Like, Ilia Topuria is a different beast in my opinion. Too switched on early, and the inactivity of Ryan Hall is going to come into factor here, and I think he's going to get slept real soon. I'll say 3 minutes into the first round, Ilia Topuria, after a couple of leg kicks and a couple of body shots on Ryan Hall, maybe Ryan Hall goes for a wheel kick, goes for a check hook, something like that. Then Ilia Topuria starts cutting off the cage. Maybe Ryan Hall dives for a leg. Ilia Topuria stays out of it, stands him back up, starts walking him against the cage again, going to the body. Ryan Hall starts dropping the hands to the body shots. Then Ilia Topuria catches him over the top and gets a first round KO against Ryan Hall. Really looking forward to the matchup. The winner's going to be in a great position to call out someone high up those rankings. Maybe a guy like Sadiq Youssef. Who knows? The featherweight division's a little bit of a logjam right now. We have so many contenders on the rise. I feel like the winner of this one might be looking for Shane Burgos, Sadiq Youssef, maybe Bryce Mitchell when he comes back. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Ryan Hall versus Bryce Mitchell. That'd be amazing. And sign me up for Ilia Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell as well. I feel like Ilia Topuria gets this one done, though. Younger, more experienced, more active, more dangerous in all areas, in my opinion. I think he gets it over Ryan Hall by first round KO. Looking forward to it though, and I'm kind of rooting for Ryan Hall, because even though I do shit on him a bit because I hate his fans, I don't like people talking about the fact that everyone's ducking him when he literally pulls out with every fucking fight he's been signed to. No one's fucking ducking him. What is this fucking propaganda that's going around everywhere? No one's ever ducked him. He beat BJ Penn, unranked. What do you mean, why is no top 5 guy fighting him? Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. Ilia Topuria. First round molestation.